Welcome to Sense of Style. I'm Stuart. Imagine if all cops wore the same scent. Like, that would be so intimidating. That'd be terrifying to smell that. Now, obviously they don't do that, but they do similar kinds of things. They all wear uniforms. They all drive the same cars. They all have the flashing lights, and they do that to assert control, gain authority, and that's important for them in very stressful situations. Now, obviously they don't wear scents. But we can use scent to enhance our image, enhance our vibe, and better yet, we can tailor it to specific situations. We have a problem though. Over the last 3 years, there's been a massive proliferation of fragrances, 7,000 released in 2024 alone, and that has lowered the overall quality of fragrances. And that's important because what cop has more control, a well-dressed one or a slovenly one? And so quality is really important. I have 6 quality fragrances today that I define as balanced, restrained, as precise, that you can tailor to specific situations in order to assert your control. Fragrance number 1, this is Eau d'Ombre Leather by Tom Ford, and this is a masterclass in restraint. Because when I saw Ombre Leather with vanilla for the very first time, I just rolled my eyes. I thought, that's all we need. And then I tried it. And because it's Eau d'Ombre Leather, like a lighter, more versatile version of Ombre Leather, it's fine. In fact, it pulled back on the vanilla. It pulled back on the leather. So if you're expecting something like Baby Cat, I mean, yeah, it's the same general construction, but a much more sophisticated, much more restrained scent. And for me, for someone my age, a much better scent, because Baby Cat, I mean, it doesn't hold back. This one does. Now, this is also really well balanced. The vanilla is not in charge. The leather is not in charge. Both are dialed back. Both work equally together. So the vanilla is a clean, dry vanilla. It's not a heavy, syrupy vanilla like you're going to get with a lot of fragrances. And the leather here, even compared to Ombre Leather, has been dialed back. So you got the 2 spices, the cardamom and the coriander. And so you're getting not so much bomber jacket leather, you're getting a tailored leather jacket. So there's a degree, again, of sophistication about the leather here. And the balance, perfect. Precision comes when you pay the price and get a good quality fragrance. And so instead of ambroxan, this uses Ambrofix. It's a higher quality ambroxan than people are used to. It doesn't have that screechiness that you get with Sauvage. Again, a dry, diffuse ambroxan. It does its job, but it doesn't do too much. Even Dior used ambroxan. Because you're dealing with Tom Ford here, you're getting a little bit better in that area, and it is a very precise note. That's the kind of thing you pay for when you pay for quality and not just buy a cheap fragrance or a clone. There is a difference. Fragrance number 2 is what I like to call a tone setter. It's the original Terre. And what I mean by a tone setter is it sets the tone for the environment around you. And the one thing it doesn't do is chase compliments. It says, I'm clean, I'm fresh, I'm presentable, let's get ready to work. Maybe we can change the world, but it doesn't submit. It's not a submissive scent like so many vanilla scents that are out there these days. They're very sweet, they're very loud, but the message they're sending is, please like me, please be my friend. This is the anti-vanilla scent. I mean, it's not even all that appealing. I hated it for the first 2 years. Yeah, it's got an orange, but it's a dull orange. No, this is a scent for a leader, and that's why it's so good at work. The fragrance didn't always start that way. When Jean-Claude Ellena created this, the original name for it was Terre d'Orange, right? So you imagine a nice orangey fragrance, but when he saw how it turned out, he realized, okay, this is no fresh, clean, sweet orange. I mean, the original orange is sure, but it's got a ton of vetiver around it, which is clean vetiver from Haiti. But vetiver's a grass, so it's got a very woody component. And then you throw in the minerality of the flint note. That dulls the orange down big time. He had to change the name. So this is not mass appealing. But what it is authoritative. It says, I'm in control. Again, that's what you want when you're at work. Fragrance number 3 is Dior's Fahrenheit Parfum. And this fragrance is a masterclass in balance. It balances warmth and coolness better than any other fragrance that I've ever tried. It was a very difficult fragrance to make, though. In 2014, 25 years after the initial Fahrenheit release, they wanted François Demachy to make an evening, sophisticated version of Fahrenheit. Normally, when you're making evening fragrances, you add some sweetness, but you are talking about the most aggressively fresh fragrance that you can get in Fahrenheit. How do you balance that out? How do you make it appeal to people that like Fahrenheit? And how do you make it appeal to people who don't? He achieved that, and this is the only one of the 8 Fahrenheit flankers that's still around today. Precision was absolutely critical to balance it out. He didn't think amber was enough. He went vanilla, licorice, and rum, gourmandy elements. Now, this is not a gourmand because of what the other side is like, but they balanced out with gourmandy elements. And then he put just the right amount of that original Fahrenheit DNA, the leather, and especially the violet leaf. That's the aggressive, fresh part. That is an extremely fresh quality. The leather, the violet leaf, and then a lot of spices, especially nutmeg. Put the balance in. Beautiful fragrance. Now you got a warm element, you got a cool element. People that like Fahrenheit love it, and I like Fahrenheit, but I've also noticed a lot of young YouTubers, guys that can't stand the original Fahrenheit, they like this, right? That takes balance, and it worked. Fragrance number 4 is Maison Margiela's Jazz Club, and this is another tone-setting fragrance, but this sets a very different tone. And one of the things that I love about Maison Margiela is all of their fragrances are tone setters. Under the lemon tree, at the barber shop, by the fireplace, that's setting a vibe. And so here, you've got Jazz Club, like think, smoky room, think at night, and you're relaxed, right? You're at a jazz club, you're having a good time. Very different tone than what you're getting with something like Terre, which is, let's get down to business. This one is relaxed. And so I think this one has a lot of opportunities where we can wear it. And if you think like dark room where you're relaxed, I mean, what better idea would be a date? Like whether you're meeting someone for the first time or whether you're with your partner, I mean, it's a great date fragrance, and it just creates that perfect vibe. So there's a lot of opportunities to wear this. Now, there's an awful lot of vanilla here for a jazz club. However, the vibe is real because they say some cigar smokes and cocktails, and they're not kidding about the cigar smoke. You're taking a tobacco note, and instead of just surrounding it with honey, you're giving it styrax, which is a leathery, balsamic note that's pungent. And so, yeah, you're going to get that cigar smoke, not just a nice smoky note. And then you're going to get a rum note here too, completely creating the vibe, all with like really decent projection. You need projection for a fragrance like this. It's there. Longevity is also solid too. So yeah, a very popular Maison Margiela fragrance. Number 1 by far for men from Maison Margiela. Fragrance number 5 is Ombre Noire by Lalique. And this is a mid-range price fragrance that is extremely high quality. That's what I like about Lalique. The entire Encre Noire line, and I remember hearing this back in the day. I remember hearing how high quality it was, and I paid for it, and I didn't really like the fragrances, but the more experience I get, the more I realize just how high quality it is. I'm not sure how they're able to do it. This is definitely more expensive than Encre Noire, though, but the quality is really here. It's a very precise fragrance, and the reason I know that is because it has a strange open. It's fig, mint, and bergamot. And normally with an open, it dissipates, it goes away. But with this fragrance, it lingers, and it lingers throughout the entire experience, which is something I haven't noticed before. It's kind of cool. It's definitely very different, but you can, 3 or 4 hours in, you can still pick up a little bit of that fig and mint combination, despite the fact that the fragrance itself is a very different type. I mean, it's quite sweet. You're going to get a lot of tonka in this, which is odd for Lalique. You're also going to get cognac, tobacco, You're going to get resins, myrrh and olibanum. So like really high quality stuff that's warm and inviting, but you're still going to be able to pick up that open, which is really a level of complexity that I am not used to from, I guess it's a $60 fragrance. Performance really good, projection moderate, but the quality here is great. Fragrance number 6 is Xerjoff's Commandante. And what you're getting here is innovation and restraint. It's the restraint that I really like about this fragrance because it's a sweet tobacco with fruity elements, but they've added a floral note. Now, you don't get florals in sweet tobacco fragrances, but you do when you're going niche. And so the problem that I've always had, like my Pure Havane is gone. I got rid of it because it was just like in your face, like super, super strong. And I'm older, right? I want something more sophisticated. And they figured that out, right? So they add a ton of floral notes. There's no specific floral notes. There's just a generic floral notes that flattened it out, made it a little creamy, definitely sophisticated. So when it comes to the projection here, it's moderate. It's not super strong, but it makes a sweet tobacco livable and more sophisticated than what you normally get with sweet tobaccos, at least at the designer level. Control, really important. And when it comes to control, quality is essential. I'm somebody that's changed the way I dress significantly over the last couple of years. My confidence has gone up. But when it comes to wearing fragrances, there's no question that if I'm wearing the original, like a really high quality brand like Dior or Chanel, I know I'm wearing those things and I do come off as more confident. It's the same way where, I'm not going to be wearing Crocs in a t-shirt. I'm not going to be as confident as if I'm wearing a tie, a suit, something like that. It's the same thing with fragrances. That's one thing I don't think a lot of people understand about colognes. I mean, they're good for trying things out, but if you've got enough money, it's worth it. Its quality is worth it because you feel better and the other people might not know, but you're wearing quality, that you are quality.